I just think it's funny because everyone who sees like the shape of it, we get like three different answers each time. It's like, oh, it looks like a heart, it looks like a dragon, or it looks like a rooster. And we're like, hey, whatever you guys see, that's what it is. It's up for your interpretation.
It's everything.
Welcome to the Brutality podcast. My name is Dom, and I just have a few things to shout out before diving into today's episode. First, I wanted to mention that we have a Discord server. If you want to stay up to date with everything podcast related, that is the place to be. But also, if you want to be a part of a community of like-minded people who are looking to just talk about and discover deathcore, whether that be old or new, all that happens over in the Discord server. Also, if you want to help support the show, we now have a Patreon. Some of the perks include early access to episodes, your name in the credits, being the first to know about our upcoming guests, member-only channels in our Discord, and so much more. All of that on Patreon. Also, we have some merch. We have 2 t-shirt designs that we are very excited about. You can go and find those over at indiemerchstore.com. And last but not least, we do these podcast recordings live on Twitch every single Wednesday at 6 p.m. EST. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, if you want to see the unfiltered, unedited versions of these episodes, that is where we do it. So links to all of that down in the description wherever you are watching or listening. That's all I have to plug. Thank you for listening and enjoy this episode. Jake, my man, how are you feeling? How are you doing? Welcome to the show, man.
Hi, thank you for having me on. Seriously, this means the whole world to me to be on here, and I am so excited.
Dude, you say thank you. We've been talking about this so much. I don't think you have an idea. Like, we both love your music, and I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dom, but I'm pretty sure you booked it fully knowing that I'm gonna go with it no matter what. I'm gonna be happy. I'm pretty sure that's kind of what happened. Usually we talk together. We're like, oh, what if? And I'm pretty sure he's just like, hey man, we're gonna do this, and I was just like, let's do it. So we're all very excited. For real.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that, and thank you so much. Seriously.
Yeah, but there's a few bands like that where I'm like, yeah, and I'll dig this. I know he's a fan. I know he's gonna be okay with this one. I just say fuck it.
He knew I would love your music even at first. You know what I mean? Like it was just there's certain things like that. I saw the logo. I was like, I'm probably gonna like it. Like it's as stupid as that. Like I was just like, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like it. And he's just like, just listen to 10 seconds and you're and I was just like, okay, that's it. That's
actually, that's anecdotally though, we were supposed to hang out, Yen and I, at a show, and ended up not happening ultimately, but I was saving showing you guys to Yan for that specific show because I absolutely wanted to listen to the 13 minutes with car speakers. I wanted to show him that way first, but I wasn't able to, unfortunately. But I think it is a good setting for the bass boosts.
And it was the worst, dude, because like he would just tell me, I know you're gonna love it, and I was just like, "Can you just?" And he's like, "No, we're gonna wait." And I was just like,
"I was gatekeeping you guys from Yan."
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
That's what happened. Yeah, that's what happened. But it's sick, dude. And obviously, talking about that, we're extremely stoked. We're about to hear something I didn't, so I'm waiting for that as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, look, so a bit of context too, I guess, like we connected a few months ago and we're wanting to do the podcast with someone from Squelching. And I kind of had in mind like, hey, like the EP came out in like 2023. It's been a minute. It's only 4 songs. There's for sure got to be some more coming, right? So, it was kind of a conscious effort to kind of wait it out until there was something else to show, and that's what we're gonna be listening to today. So I'm incredibly excited about this, man. Yo, Editor Dom here, just coming in real quick to give a little bit of context. I'm cutting out the next 5 or so minutes of the episode just because it was the three of us kind of reacting to the new Squelching single, Carnal Amputation. We listened to it live on stream a few days before it actually came out, but by the time this episode drops, it will be out on Slam Worldwide, so I'll be leaving a link to that down in the description below. But yeah, just for copyright reasons and all that stuff, cutting it out of the episode, and what we're going to jump back to is our immediate reactions to hearing it for the first time. So a little bit more of a laid back episode than what we normally do here on the podcast, but it was we had a blast. It was a chill vibe. So that's it. I'll let you guys back in on the episode. Brother, what the fuck did I just listen to? Holy shit, dude.
I'm gonna let you go first because I got a lot to say. So,
okay, so immediately to me, it's like all the, yeah, you said heavier. It's like literally like distill all the most heavy parts of your previous tracks and then just do that 20 times over. It's like it's always like a call out into something ridiculously heavy, into a call out into something. It's just like it just never stops. Holy shit, man. Jaden's fucking insane on this.
Dude, he absolutely ripped this track apart. Like watching, like while we were recording, I just sat there most of the time trying not to laugh so hard because how ridiculous it is. I'm just like, what the actual fuck is this man creating?
It's a good sign, though. Honestly, laughing because of like how intense it is, to me, is the sign like ever that you're doing something incredible.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's like the goal we always have now. It's just like, if I'm not sitting there laughing while I'm tracking guitars, or even whenever I'm recording with him at his place, I'm like, what the actual fuck are we doing? Like, this isn't heavy. This isn't ridiculous.
exactly. I got I don't know.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
But yeah, go for it. Yeah, go.
I was about to ask because like I got a lot, so I don't know if you've got
it, man.
Okay,
that's
perfect.
what we're here for.
Okay, first thing, it's the first time to me that and I mean that in like the most positive way, that a band brings back the Demolisher weird tempo drums with the hardcore vibes behind it that I'm in love with, that I've never heard once since World of Hatred back then. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's just...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so, you know, I have the track Decimated from that album, that it's just like kind of these weird drum tempos that brings the hardcore energy that I heard in your track, that I was just like, you know, it's so fucking sick. Second thing is, it's like the hardcore people know that I love hardcore, but like it's cool that it's there the whole time. Even if you're doing a breakdown, you're doing like, and I'm sure it's intended, but even in your slam parts everywhere, it's always this hardcore kind of feeling a little bit. You know, that's why I'm talking about Demolition and stuff like that. That's something that I was just like, holy shit. And I'm sure it's intended, right? Like with those vocals and talking about the vocals. Another thing I do want to mention is it's refreshing to hear someone go crazy with the vocal, with like a huge spectrums of sound, without being at all in the modern new wave of it's completely old school, but super versatile in all the best spectrums of sound that we had back then. So it's really tasteful in that sense. And I wanted to comment on that because it's really easy to fall in the more, you know, like the Goblin, like newer, whatever things that we heard. Yeah. With all due respect, you know, it's cool to hear it's super old school, but it's also super extreme in the best way possible. Even as crazy as the vocals are doing, to me, it didn't take me out of the old school sick vibes in it, which I think is difficult to do. So I really commend the vocalist on that as well. Like those vocals are just absolutely insane. But everything, even down to the bass, you know, when the bass goes alone, I was just like, thank God. It's cool to showcase the freaking bass, and it's so underrated. Everybody's just like,
yeah.
okay, whatever, let's just put bass. The bass is loud. I'm sure it's intended, but like the bass is loud. The showcase of the bass was super sick, and I don't want to explain everything. I'm just saying, like, those are the things that just really maybe it's exactly, but I think it's really tasteful, and yes, it's heavy, but it's really done to me at the very it's done really tastefully the whole the whole time. So that's my take on it.
Well, thank you so much. And yeah, the hardcore stuff for all that. I come from more of a hardcore background more than anything most of the time, because I have another band called Kill a Bastard that I do, and it's just like strictly like hardcore beatdown stuff. And so like I'm like, I want to keep that groove. Like that's the one thing I've always loved doing with anything I touch is add an element of groove to it, something that's going to make you bounce the entire time and keep you interested and not just be repetitious and monotonous, that you're going to be sitting here like, okay, I've heard this thousands of times already from whatever band. It's like, no, this is done differently.
And mission accomplished, by the way. Like that's one of my first taught, and I think every instrument is part, but I think the drum is a big part of it as well. And from what you're talking, because like you would
the offbeat parts are so fucking sick. You have some of that sprinkled on the EP, but the way it's brought into this song was so fucking sick, dude.
Yup.
And you cannot go wrong. I keep saying it. You cannot go wrong. If you throw a sick breakdown and it turns into a two-step, there's nobody on the planet who won't be happy to hear that afterwards. You know, like just it's impossible not to be, you know, if you love the breakdown, the two-step form of it is just going to be insane. And I think it works really well for you guys, what you guys are doing, you know. So yeah, it's sick.
No, yeah, and that like doing all those like two-step stompy stuff and everything, I've always loved that. That's like some of my favorite things ever when it comes to even writing, where that's where I come up with a lot of the offbeat rhythms is via a stomp, because I'm like, I don't want to hit beat one, never. Most of the time, I want to miss beat one as much as possible, because it allows the vocals to pop out so much more. But in actual reality, it just adds a groove to it, and that's one thing I've always loved about deathcore as a whole, and even hardcore, is it has groove to it, and it makes people want to dance one way or another.
Yep, that's a conversation we often have, to be honest, because I keep bringing up bands like Suffocate and all those bands that had like a huge hardcore. Like I still listen to Suffocate just to give you an idea, but like when you picture a show live, as much as I can enjoy the blast beats, don't get me wrong, it's cool, but like the parts that you see people just going nuts, going crazy, or just like being happy, it's when you throw these groovy, but I don't know if you remember, but back then you would have these bands that would start their set without saying anything. They would just go on stage, throw like a huge two-step breakdowns, and everybody would go crazy. They would just throw kind of it would just be like these. It was insane, and we kind of lost that over the years, right? Like that grooviness, and it's coming back, and you guys are a part of bringing that back, and it's successfully done. That song live might kill some people though, but it's you know.
Oh my gosh, we have had that in our live line, like our set list for live, and every time we play it, it is always just people beating ass the entire time. I'm not joking. It's I sit, because I would at some points the beginning stuff of our shows, I will not wear my glasses, but now in times that I have like this whole mask I'm wearing now, I can throw my glasses on and I'll look up once in a while from playing and be like, oh my god. Oh my god, people are beating ass right now. This is actually like, I'm excited that this is happening, but thank God I'm not in there to be a part of that.
Yeah, it's two separate things, but for as much as I want people to be safe in general, to me it was an important part of what we lost. And I'm always going to say
yeah.
it was still a big part of the attraction of going there, being impressed by all people are going crazy. And over the years, it became more of a, just like a regular show that you would see in other kinds of music, I think. And it's great that it's back. That's scary. Just, going in the pit, being stressed of just like, I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to walk out of here properly.
I'm just gonna say though, I don't think Oklahoma's ever lost that. I think
Probably
Oklahoma's always been about the hardcore and the big mosh.
Probably not.
Oh yeah, like literally Oklahoma has always been so heavy for no reason. I find it hilarious, like especially when I first started going to shows when I was like 13, 14. It's always been people just absolutely just swinging hard as they can, and I've always sat there like, oh, I'm in danger right now, like I'm completely in danger. But I love that, because even if you get like somewhat like you get knocked down or whatever, or someone like absolutely just socks you right in the jaw, they'll immediately more likely be like, oh, I am so sorry. And it's like, dude, I know what I signed up for. Like,
yes.
Like, and that's the thing I think most people at some points don't realize, is that we know what we're signing up for when we step in there. It's not like we're going in blindly. No, we know full well that I might get a bloody nose here tonight. And if that happens, it happens, whatever.
I fully remember my friend the first time I was about to mosh, and I won't front. I was nervous. Like I would love to say, oh, I was confident, everything was fine. I was nervous as shit. And he told me the most important thing, dude, take your space. If you leave space for people to walk in your space, they're going to take it, and it's going to end up, as long as you go crazy and you make up. So my point is, it's kind of on you if you're in a pit like that. That's kind of what it is. But would you guys agree that this kind of crazy mosh pit and stuff like that is as important as the performance itself? People going crazy are part of the energy of the show, like fully, like it's part of it. I would even say it's essential to a good show, right?
Oh, 100%. Like if the crowd isn't, if no one's moshing, then there's going to be an overall like drop off in performance. Even for us on stage, like I can say like, yeah, we're going to throw our whole back and everything into this performance and stuff. But if I'm not seeing people moving and everything, it's kind of like a morale drop. And I can definitely feel it within the crowd too, where it's like, oh, if they aren't feeling in the pit, then the crowd's probably not going to be feeling it as much.
It's kind of like a chicken or the egg scenario, though. In some cases, right? It's like, because someone's got to go hard first, Yeah,
it's one or the other.
True. But to be fair, though, I feel like a band, like you need to go crazy, right? Because of course, if the band is just standing still playing, you cannot really be upset if people are not going crazy, right? Like you need to go crazy with them. That for sure. But I've seen, sometimes I'm looking at shows, right? And I'm doing whatever, like when I do a video or something, and I'm doing research, I'm looking at shows from like 2006, 2007, and it did happen in a few occasions that like people are not doing anything, and every time I'm like, what is that? Like, what are you? Like you're seeing like, and you see the band giving like an incredible, like they're going crazy and stuff like that, and you look at the crowd is just, and I'm like, what are you? Like I personally don't understand that, because to me the logic is go crazy with them, right? Like if the band's going crazy, the whole thing is the band's going crazy, we're going crazy with them, and it's going crazier and crazier the whole set. That's the scenario where that's what shows are about. So but it happens, right? It probably it's just.
It can happen. Like I know a lot of times at some points people just want to watch the band. They're just going to sit there and just be in awe just on the fact of how hard they're performing or just how crazy they are. And they're just like, I don't know how I'm supposed to be moving right now. I am either in awe or I'm just scared of like the vocalist, for example, like up on stage just screaming. It's just like, oh, this is really different and intense.
Yeah, just taking it in is what sometimes maybe is. And I'm guessing you guys' vocals live is probably something. It's probably something. I'm
Dude,
guessing.
Jaden live is one of my favorite people because he'll just throw in random little things. Like, I know our last show, during one of our breakdowns right before it, he literally just says kill, and just everyone goes nuts. And I'm like, oh yeah, those are those little highlight moments for sure. For sure. And I know, like, I'll talk shit to the crowd, just being like, let's fucking go, fucking move, or this is time for the big boys, like, let's fucking go. And I love that kind of stuff. And I especially love when we can interact with the crowd and see them lose it based off of, like, on like a build up or whatever, like I'm just yelling at them to move and show violence.
Do you have those little moments that I wouldn't call it break character, but like that you're looking at each other on stage being like, this is crazy, you know? Do you have these little moments sometimes, or it's too in the moment?
It's a bit of both. Like, we do have moments where, like, I will look over at Jaden and I can tell Jaden's looking at me because of whatever it is, whether it be like the crowd's going nuts or like I'm still playing and he's just like, I can't believe we're here right now. I can't believe we're doing this. But at other moments, we're all of us, I mean, like, all of us are just locked into this energy and vibe that we're creating, and that we're like, oh, we're just doing the absolute heaviest, ridiculous, and angriest music. So we gotta be there in that moment and be in that energy. Like, I know our guitarist will be, our other guitarist, Andrew, will just be flipping off the crowd and stuff like that. Everything is just because we want to be in that vibe and be in that headspace of being like, yeah, we're pissed off, we're angry, type stuff.
And then you're like the nicest probably with people after the show. Like, that's the best thing, you know? Like, he's like, kill, and I'm sure afterwards he's just like, hey man, what's up? that's
exactly what it is. Like, and I'm running merch most of the time at our shows. So when people see me, because I do background vocals with Jaden live, and so that we can just have this layer of low gurgles and low screams going on, so that, like, and you know, I'm also yelling at the crowd, just telling them to move, show me something fucked up and stuff like that, where like afterwards I'm sitting there at the merch stand, just big old smile on my face, asking everyone, hey, how's it going, how's your day going, man? Like, just nicest person as I can be, and try to be as inviting as I can be, so that they're not like, this guy was just yelling at me, what the hell.
That's the coolest thing. I mean, we have these conversations often, but I think that's the best. You know what I mean? Like, you're on stage, you're destroying everything, you're mean, whatever, and then you're the super chill and you hang out with people. That's the best freaking contrast ever. But it's probably confusing for some people. I'm guessing for some people they're just like, I don't understand what's happening. You know, he told me to kill someone 5 minutes ago. So
exactly.
I mean, there's gotta be something to also, like, obviously, I'm assuming at local shows, just people know who you are, right? But the more you guys play outside of where you guys are at, like, I'm assuming the masks will kind of do something. You know, the people probably might not even know that the guy at the merch table is the guy that was under the mask on stage, type thing, you know?
Yep. Oh no, exactly. Like, literally just not too long, I think it was today actually, like, one of my one of Jaden's friends and one of my friends as well, he was getting asked if he was a part of the band, and he's like, no, like, I'm not. And Jaden sent me it, and he's like, the masks are working. And I'm like, good.
No, but the thing is, you got to tell all those friends of yours to say yes and just make it seem as if Squelching has 10,000 members.
No, that's it. And we jokingly were like, dude, let's get him like on like sample pad where he's triggering all like the sub bombs, all that stuff. Just for why not? Why not?
You got to find new jobs for every extra person that gets asked if they're in the band and they say yes.
Exactly. Man, if we need to throw a triangle on stage, screw it. Let him do it.
Fuck it. Kill. Ding.
Starting now, I'm gonna say I'm a member of your your band. They're gonna say like, what are you doing? I cannot say it. It's confidential, but
I signed an NDA. I can't say.
Yeah,
exactly.
Brutality Podcast is sponsoring the Self-Care Others Harm tour, which is a Thus Spoke Zarathustra album release full USA tour featuring a crazy amount of amazing bands in the revival scene as regional supports. Bands on the run include Surfaced, Slamwich, Lilith's Demise, In Which Divides Us, Mauled, Brain Injury Unit, and Delilah. So incredibly stacked lineup. If you want to check out the full dates as well as venue information and what bands play where, head on over to brutalitypodcast.com/TSZ tour or hit the link in the description. And now just a quick second to talk about the sponsor of today's episode, Indie Merch Store. Pre-order the new Signs of the Swarm album to rid myself of truth today. Pre-order limited edition colored vinyl alongside CDs and merch over at www.indiemerchstore.com. The first single, Hell Must Fear Me, is streaming everywhere right now, so be sure to check it out. Also, Cattle Decapitation has a killer new spring merch drop. Pick up windbreakers, cross body bags, tees, and patches from the band over at indiemerchstore.com. Remember, you can always use the code BRUTALITY at checkout to save yourselves 10% off your entire order. Helps support the show as well as save you guys a little bit of money in the process. So a huge thank you to Indie Merch Store for sponsoring this episode. And now back to the show.
I think you guys are doing a lot of things that separates you from the rest, and I really mean that. The logo itself, just right off the bat, and by the way, while we're here, I'm gonna speak for the both of us. It might be one of the coolest logo, if not the coolest logos ever.
Absolutely,
dude. Thank you so much. Seriously, thank you. Whenever Jade and I were coming up with the idea for it, like we knew we wanted it to be over the top ridiculous and everything like that. And we wanted it to be the most unreadable logo too, just because we're like the best bands in our opinion have the most unreadable logo completely. Like you can't read it. You just know this is the name. When you look at the logo, you're like, there ain't no way there's a word in there. There's no way. And, you know, and we hit up, gosh, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but whenever we told him, like, we want, like, it to look like you just threw a thing of, like, mud or something against the wall. Mm-hmm. And you can just see it dripping down, and that's what we want. And we told him, like, yeah, we do want some stuff in there, like intestines. We want like eyeballs, like a mouth or something. And that's what he gave us. And we're like, oh yeah, this is absolutely gross. And the idea we were kind of going for is like looking towards like bands like Sanguisugabogg, where it's like completely unreadable. But when you see it, you know.
But you know what? The shape, dude, it's a big factor. The shape of that logo you recognize. I don't know if you, my example is always We Came With Broken Teeth back then. Like it's super iconic. If you try reading it, it's like you can barely see the letters, but every time you saw the logo though, it clicks, you know, Waking a Cadaver type of, it's a bit more readable, but still even then. Yeah. So the shape matters a lot. And I think you guys, the shape, it's like you could throw it out on a flyer. It could be as little as, and you would know. And I think that is a success in itself. I think it's a good formula. I just wanted to.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah, and I just think it's funny because everyone who sees like the shape of it, we get like three different answers each time. It's like, oh, it looks like a heart, it looks like a dragon, or it looks like a rooster, and we're like,
All cool.
hey, whatever you guys see, that's what it is. It's up for your interpretation.
It's everything.
Exactly.
There is something to be said though about like, I think a lot of people go into wanting the logo that is unreadable, and like super death metal-y or whatever, but most of the time it's just like a bunch of tree branches. Like it just kind of just looks like any other logo that's also unreadable, whereas the Squelching one is it's distinct, right? So there's more thought into it than just like, oh, let's just do this thing that's unreadable, which I find is cool.
Exactly. No, yeah, and we definitely like the one thing we did want to like stand out with, especially, is like we don't want it to be like symmetrical, if that makes sense. Where like a lot of these bands nowadays, especially with logos, they're all symmetrical, where they make like a symbol, for example, and like I'm all for that, but I miss when, like, as you were saying with like Waking the Cadaver and stuff, where it's just looks scratchy. It looks somewhat unreadable and like not really completely as like a readable thing or an actual shape. It's just what it is.
Exactly. But to your point, Dom, I think you have a good point. Like, it's easy to make something unreadable. It's another kind of challenge to make something, I'm going to say, iconic that people are going to remember. It's another level of challenge, though, because unreadable, I think it's not too. We saw our fair share back in the days on paint and logos that were done. That it's just like, okay, that's just it's whatever. But when you see something, another good example, by the way, of a standout logo, Psycho Frame is a good example of just like a unique.
Oh my god! Yeah,
dude, it's so sick, and people are just kind of it's the curiosity
killing
factor.
of a sacred deer.
That too.
It's like a double-edged sword. I find like there's for sure, like, it's cool to us because we know it and we fuck with the music, so we can now attribute the logo to something that we love. But for anyone who doesn't know the band, it's probably like, who the fuck is this band on this flyer? And you can't spell it out. so there is that, exactly. But it is one of those things, I think, that like with time especially, it's one of those things that it'll become iconic, to Yan's point, like it'll become that thing that people will recognize the more the band grows, right? And it's kind of like Sanguisugabog. It's like it's a if you know type thing, right?
Which
like
is great.
You see the logo and it's like, if you know them, you know them. If you don't, well, tough luck. Figure it out.
And it's
awesome. It's cool. It's awesome. Yeah. It adds like a level of kind of mystery to it. Yeah.
It's a really good point. And you know what I call it, by the way? I called it like the classic hoodie test. If your logo in white on a black hoodie by itself with no artwork is a badass hoodie, you nailed it with your logo. That's my kind of take on it.
I mean, look, I'm loving the look of this. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Damn, that looks badass.
Yep. And
it's
the
a
best
good
part
test.
Oh yeah, like that's the one thing, like even whenever we were getting the logo done, we're like, we want this to look cool on merch. Not just like, you see it and you're gonna think it looks cool and stuff. No, we wanted to, like, when you look at it on merch, you're gonna be like, what fucking band is that? Who is that? And that's, again, like, that's the thing that makes it very rememberable and stuff like that. Because I will even wear our own merch, like our hoodie or like one of our t-shirts, out in public, and people will be like, does that say anything? And I'm like, yeah, it does actually. Good luck figuring it out, though.
Yep.
It's like slightly, for someone, if someone were to be embarrassed about wearing their own band merch, it's a little less embarrassing if it's completely unreadable. I'll give you that.
Exactly.
People can't figure it out.
But you know what? I have a hot take on it. I'm all for it. if you fuck with what you do and you want to
Yeah,
wear
for
your
sure.
merch, wear your freaking merch. Like that.
No,
That's my personal take on it. Wear it. You know, like
Yeah.
sometimes I see a band, they're wearing their, and I'm like, do it. You know, like don't.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
if you don't want to, it's fine. But if and you guys have you could even lie. I mean, with the mask and everything, you could say, oh, I'm a fan of that band. They're cool. You know, like I'm not.
Oh, no,
So
I always think people should wear their own merch. Like, if you truly love the music that you're doing and the designs you're putting together as a band, fucking wear it. Like, what's stopping you? Like, just because someone on the internet or someone at a show is just gonna say, "Wow, it's cringe that you're wearing your own merch." Who cares? Who cares? Live your life to however you want, dude.
well, yeah, well said. You know, like I mean, if you're not stoked about your band, like how do you expect people to be stoked about it? You know,
Exactly. Exactly.
It's
Like, and that's like the thing with like us as a band is like we're all so excited about this music. Like, even the new music we're writing, we're super excited about because it is different than what we've been doing, like from the first EP. And I mean, Jade and I have been sitting on hundreds of songs. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, we will just create stuff just to create stuff. Like, I have a whole folder on my laptop that's just squelching instrumentals, and it's just like we can pick and choose from all of these to figure out which one is the one we want to do in actual reality. And then, you know, we'll record on a song. We might not even like the song afterwards, but we still have it just to have it. Like, before we started working on the newer material of this, we already had a whole other second EP done, ready to go. And we just sat there like, do we really want to drop this though? Like, is this really like we want to go for in the sound? And then we're like, we can do better and heavier for sure. For sure. Because, like, as you said earlier, it's like breakdown after breakdown, call out, breakdown. And that's what personally I want to do for music, is just breakdown after breakdown to breakdown, where you the entire time as an audience member are going to be either mobbing out, just absolutely moshing hard, or you're going to be scared just because you're like, it won't stop getting heavier.
or both.
Yeah,
So,
exactly, or
at
both.
the same thing. So which is great, but you know what? I'm gonna commend you on that. It's not easy to do that while keeping it interesting. I think because I do want to say that, because like I know people are gonna hear that and gonna be like, yeah, it's cool, breakdown after breakdown. It's easier said than done if you want to keep it interesting. And that's why I mentioned the drum structure, the parts. Like, yes, you guys are doing a lot of breakdowns in a row, but you can tell there's a lot of thought that went into the songwriting so that it keeps being interesting, and there's a progression in it. I just wanted to add that to what you said.
Again, thank you so much, because I write all of the music by myself most of the time. Like, I am that's how we started to begin with, which is like Jay and I recorded the first EP all in his bedroom. It was just him and I. We literally were within another band called Left Hand Path, and just stuff wasn't moving or picking up, getting stuff released. And we're just like, screw it, let's just write something to write something, the heaviest stuff imaginable. And then through the entire time we're writing it, I was sitting there like, I the best way to say it is like I had to think like a drummer, because I'm a guitar player, but you gotta think like a drummer and ask yourself, A, is this humanly possible, first of all? especially being a guitarist, you want to write the most ridiculous like kick drum part where it's just the entire time, and it's like, you can't do that. You can't do that unless you're like absolutely like lightly tapping with the triggers on the kick drum. And it's like, no, I want to make this playable for a drummer, because again, it was just the two of us writing. So we're like, we want to make this playable for whoever wants to join us. Will it be a challenge? Yes, it will be a challenge, but that's the fun part in it. And whenever we got our drummer Chris, he at first couple of times we asked him to play for us, he was like, I don't think I can play this. Like, this is difficult for me, because he was a hardcore drummer, like a hardcore drummer. And we're like, dude, come on, please, come on, do it. Let's do it. And then once we finally got him on board, he was just like, okay, I can do this. I will just have to work my ass off and like practice a lot. And we're like, yeah. I mean, I practice the hell out of my parts all the time, just because I know just going from chugs to tremolo picking to pinch harmonics, all that. I'm like, all right, if I'm going to literally be going in between all that, I need to take a moment to know what the hell I am playing instead of just being like, I'm just going to wing it. Like, screw this.
Yeah, it's go ahead.
No, go for it, Ian.
I was just about to say, like, because you mentioned that you came from the hardcore scene, right? I'm guessing, just by the sound of it, that you also love deathcore and all that side of things.
Oh yeah. I grew up listening to deathcore. Like, I got into hardcore mainly while I was in high school, but from like when I was in middle school and like even still in high school, I listened to deathcore. Like, and the surprising thing is, I'm 23 years old, so I'm a youngin when it comes to all of the stuff for deathcore and everything like that. But I know all the bands because I loved listening to all of them, like King Conquer, this is Suffering, or I think that's what they're called. Yeah, the Suffering, and all those old school. Yeah, I grew up on all those like old school bands because I was like, once I found deathcore, I was like, I gotta go through the entire catalog of what is to offer for deathcore to know what it's all about. Because whenever I was in middle school, you had like obviously the big bands like Suicide Silence, Whitechapel, Impending Doom, Despised Icon, all of them. But I was like, what's the underground stuff that's like that are known to the other deathcore bands but aren't really known to the main general public?
Mm-hmm.
It makes a lot of sense. Sorry. Yeah.
No, yeah, you're all good. You're all good. And that's like the main thing for me, where like finding those really underground bands and just hearing how at some points it's just they will play three notes, just dun dun, China hit, snare. And I'm like, yes, I love this ridiculous stuff for it. I want this. And that's the kind of like what I pull from a lot of times with Squelching. Like, yeah, we have slam and everything like that, but a lot of older deathcore did have slam, especially like Suicide Silence first EP, like it had slam in it, just dun 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 wee dun dun wee dun dun wee, and just throwing the tremolos in, and I'm like, dude, yeah, who doesn't love slam? Like, this is like the stuff that makes you feel like it's pummeling and punishing.
Yeah, 100%. You know what? I keep saying that to me, Psychoframe is kind of the logical evolution of the deathcore of back then. But what you guys are doing, and not to compare you, by the way, it's just where my brain goes. But what you guys are doing, I love. I don't know if you know Without a Phase. It's like it's so freaking good. Okay, so Without a Phase, Damage Over Time, that specific kind of like angriness and stuff like that, to me, is the logical evolution of what we had with Demolisher and all those bands. And I mean that in the best freaking complimentary way possible, but that's kind of how I see it. I was curious to know if you guys are kind of, if it's a conscious thing of just like, like that logical step, like let's do deathcore but with the freaking hardcore energy and the angriness behind it. Is that part of the process?
Oh yeah, like for like a lot of our, like for me especially, like I love bands like Kubla Khan and all that, where it's angry music 100%. And for us, I want us to be scary but angry, where it's like you're getting yelled at and you're gonna be scared that you're being yelled at. And And that's like the whole point with that, where it's like I want to be able to have those like punishing riffs while Jaden is having those just barky, yelly vocals going on, because it adds another layer of heaviness to it. Where like, yes, you can do the inaudibles, like low gutturals and stuff like that, but if you're having someone just yelling in the most intense way on top of that, you're just sitting here in like shock, basically.
I okay, I'm gonna say something. Don't take this wrong. Don't take this the wrong way.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
really, really curious what direction you were gonna go with the band in general, stylistically, because I hear a lot of the deathcore, obviously a lot of slam. To me, it's like the perfect kind of like in between. And obviously a lot of hardcore influence, but I was kind of expecting the band to kind of go one way or another with the newer stuff. And what we heard today was confirmation that like, no, y'all are doubling down on doing both and blending the two,
Yeah.
which I was like very, very pleasantly surprised, because it had been a while too, you know. Had been a minute
2
since you
years.
guys haven't put out a new song, so it was kind of, you know, I was kind of anticipating it and wondering what it was going to sound like. So I'm very pleasantly surprised that it's just more intense and more of that same kind of blend. You know,
Yeah.
you guys kind of just
Yeah.
double down on it.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me, where it's like I love both genres of slam, of hardcore, and even hardcore, and deathcore and like all that. But I want to be able to combine the two, because in my opinion, that's what makes it more intense. Like you can have those slammy parts, but if you can come in where you're just writing the one on a breakdown, like that's the best part to me. Where like I know I sent you guys another song for us to listen to later, but it's still that same idea of, yes, this is going to be slam inspired, but I'm throwing in all the elements of deathcore into it while we're like just writing just one the entire time. But we're gonna throw stuff like pick scrapes in there, harmonics in there. But I just I want a lot of times for like, because I remember there was a time when like slamming deathcore was really like popping off, when you got stuff like Cannibal Grandpa, you got stuff like early Signs of the Swarm, and all those bands like really popping off. And I was like, dude, like this is a perfect combination of the two, where like I get those dun 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 moments of like good old slam, but the next thing I know, I'm just getting just dun 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 dun, and I'm like, I want that, but I want to take that, but dumb it down.
Yeah, the caveman version of that.
Exactly, because my philosophy is the more minimum, like minimum is better. If you can make it as minimalistic as possible without it just being caveman riff after caveman riff, you're doing it right. Like, and that's what I love about our music, where it's not just caveman riff after caveman riff, or just technical the entire time and having like the spastic breakdowns. It's like, no, as you said, Jan, like we're really putting some thought into it to make sure that everything is done correctly. And like I will go through with the instrumentals at some points and rewrite drum parts, because I know how our drummer likes to play. And I'm like, he's going to want to throw in these little things on cymbals, or adding offbeat snare stuff, ghost notes. And I'm like, that's what he's going to want to do. So I'm going to make sure he has those, so that whenever we perform it live, he's going to play a different style live than we do on the record, because it's his style. And I want that. I want that to be like, yeah, our record's going to sound one way, but when you see it live, it's going to be a whole different ballpark, because you get to fully have that intensity right in your face.
Yeah, I think it's a good mentality, and just to add to that also, like you mentioned, you said kind of dumb it down, right, and stuff like that. But at the same time, the way I see it, to me, it's more structured bass than melody
Yep.
based. And like a lot of
Yep.
people are confusing that with skills and talent. But what they don't know
Yeah.
is writing in a structure kind of way doesn't make it easier. You have another challenge of, as I said, making it super interesting, making it fun. And people hear something simple and they think like, oh, it's simple. Yeah, it's difficult to do something that sounds simple and that it's not been done, it's new, it's tasteful. So I don't see it as being dumb or whatever. I see it as being more structured based, and especially
Yeah.
with the drums and everything. So it's just more, it's challenging in a different way. Would you say it's a fair statement for that?
Oh, yeah, that is completely correct. Like, it is definitely more structured because I can tell you, like, even whenever you break down the riffs themselves, when you like, if like, whenever our guitarist looked at our guitarist Andrew saw our tabs and stuff, he was like, okay, like this seems like it's going to be easy because it's just a bunch of ones, twos, threes, fours, and fives. Like,
It's 4
we
notes
never
here.
go past.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But once you start actually playing it, you're like, okay, hold on. I'm gonna need to take a second to process this because it's moving in a way that is difficult. Because it's not technical, but it's difficult because your brain's not anticipating it to be that easy, I guess you could say. Like, you see it, you think this is going to be easy, but once you start playing it, you're like, oh, this is actually kind of hard now to do it because I underestimated it.
It's off. There's a bunch of offbeat stuff.
Yeah.
It's constantly changing, so it's not like you're playing the same riff over and over again. It's like
Oh no.
Can be
constant
confusing.
variation. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
And also, correct me if I'm wrong, but since you guys have a lot of silence moment and like drum offbeat and stuff like that, you need to be precise. Like what people don't understand is like as technical as you can go, if there's a room of sound and you make a little mistake, to me, the way I see it, there's still a little more room than if it's super silent. Let me tell you, if you fuck up during one of those parts, it's really clear that you did and everybody knows. So there's also this kind of exposure and spotlight when and a big precision is required, right?
Oh yeah, dude, yeah, especially for those silent parts. It's if I can tell you how many times of during even rehearsal, I skip a beat and I think we're coming in. I come in a beat early and then it's clear as day that I'm the one that fucked up, and I'm like, Christ, damn it! I should have waited for the cue. I should have waited for Chris's cue. Like whenever he hits the snare, hit a hi hat. I should have known that, but I'm counting in my own head at some points, just being like, yeah. But it's I love those silent moments because it just adds another layer of suspense and it adds this whole layer of just like everyone being like, oh my God. But the next thing you know, if you fuck up, you fucked up bad.
Yeah, that's the point I wanted to. And by the way, you just made me realize I wanted to ask, do you get nervous a lot during shows? You know, it can be for you or for the guys in general, but are you super nervous or just kind of excited? And
it's a bit of both, where it's like I'm so excited to like be playing this music, especially like Jaden and I wrote like this was intended to be an internet project more than anything. But then people start asking us, when are you gonna be playing live? And we're like, oh shit, like people actually want to see this live. Fuck. Okay, I guess we got to get this together then. But we're like so excited to be finally like playing all this music and stuff. But it's also another thing of nerves where like I can tell you like I right before like when it's day of the show, I am antsy. Like I am filled with anxiety and stuff. I'll be sitting there telling my girlfriend like I am so nervous right now. I am so nervous that we're going to be not like on time together or whatever it is. Like it could just be the simple thing of I just see all these people here for us and I'm like, shit, here we go. And it is, but when you're on stage though and you have that adrenaline kick in, you don't think, you just do. It's just like a fight or flight kind of thing kicks in and I'm just like, go, We got to keep going. If we mess up, we got to keep her moving. Doesn't matter. We're not stopping, nothing. Like, we got to keep her moving.
And I'm guessing seeing the crowd, seeing that people are having fun. You know what I mean? Like, I'm guessing also the more you play, the more you're just like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, we got this.
Oh yeah. Definitely loosen up. Like, while we're playing, like, once we get towards the end of our set list and stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm chill now. Like, I am in my zone. I am really ready just to yell at people and just do that thing. But also, when you get into that mind state of performing and stuff, like, obviously, like, yeah, we're playing our instruments, but you got to present your stage presence is a whole nother thing as well. And having that stage presence, you got to put yourself in that mind state of, like, for me, like, I'm pissed off. I am wanting violence, chaos, all things imaginable. So I gotta be there. And when I'm there, it's like that nervousness has to, like, go to the background and take a step back, because I'm like, I gotta be here for the crowd, not just for myself. I gotta be here for this crowd.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of kind of like the live show, so kind of ties into the broader, I guess, aesthetic of the band, because you guys have been rocking the masks, you know.
Yeah.
And then, so obviously there's like something kind of cryptic there, some mystery there, some aesthetic decisions there. Using, you know, even on socials, like the way you guys do your guys' posts, it's, you know, the squelching and the square brackets and the hate from the 918, you know, like there's like these aesthetic things that you guys do to kind of like present the band. Like, I'd love to kind of pick your brain on that a little bit. Like, what goes into, I guess, the image you guys are trying to portray?
Oh man. So the one thing for sure is, like, the way we present ourselves on the page and stuff is, we don't want people knowing about us. We don't want people to know about our daily life and everything like that. Even on my own Instagram, I rarely ever post me. I will post music. I will post, like, when I'm writing and everything, but you'll never really see my face unless I'm wanting to show off, like, a t-shirt I'm wearing or something like that. Other than that, it's like, we don't want to be, I guess, observed. And even with the band, it's like the whole closed bracket things. That's where our vocalist got the name for the band, was watching, like, horror movies and stuff, and just popped up closed caption Squelching, and he's like, that's a band name right there. That's a band name. So we wanted to just keep that like whole closed bracket type stuff. And even then, a lot of times I'm running the band page most of the time. So I will be sitting there as thinking, like, what's going to look presentable in a professional manner, but still keep us not from looking like, I guess you could say, cringy or like super edgy and stuff like that. And like, that's the reason why I'll do like ... and everything, because I'm also a big fan of like esoteric occult stuff. So I'm like, symbolism is a big thing. So like, if you're putting like these little 3 things, it's going to keep people's interest. They're going to be asking, like, as you said, like, what is that about? Everything. It's going to have people asking questions, when in actual reality, there's nothing really behind it besides little things like that. Like, we just keep the closed bracket because our vocalist caught the idea from closed captions. The hate from the 918, I just did it because it rhymed. Because I was just like,
hey, it's catchy, if anything.
Exactly. Like, if it rhymes and it's gonna sound catchy. So I'm like, that's how I go about that, really. And a lot of times, like, even whenever we were first posting, like, I was like, I don't want to be sitting here giving like paragraphs.
Hey guys, this is my new band. We're going for
pre-save.
No, exactly. And like, I don't want to go for this whole like long paragraphs being like, you motherfuckers need to save this shit right now. This is the hardest shit ever. Blah, blah, blah. No, I just want to be like, new song coming this day.
Oh my god, thanks.
Show up, like just like check it out.
And
like,
let the
The
music talk,
announcement
right?
of an announcement type stuff. Yeah.
Dude, you want to know the worst part? You know when it's a sound, like it's not even, you don't even hear like a teaser or something. It's just kind of a sound effect, and it's just like with it, and it's just like every time it's okay.
Eerie movie style trailer for a fucking band single. Yeah, that's the death of me for sure.
I'm saying that really respectfully, but I feel like no, but to do that, in my opinion, I mean, if a band like freaking Whitechapel's doing that, I'm like, I get it. You have people waiting for stuff. It's fine. But like, you need to keep in mind, we've got new music every second now. So, you know, if I do some music tomorrow and I'm doing all these trailers and stuff like that, as much as you like what I'm doing somehow and stuff like that, I think you can just drop the music when it's ready, and you can hype it up when you drop it, and it's gonna be fine. Let your song talk. You know, if people like it, they're gonna share it. You know, it's let the music talk. It's gonna be fine. That's my take on it. Respectfully.
No, and I 100% agree with you on that. It's one thing where it's like you're a big band on like a big label where you have to do this kind of high promotion trailer stuff, especially like you're doing like a music video. That's understandable. But if you're doing something simple like we're doing, just a visualizer where it's just cover art right here, logo right there, just post the cover art and just say, this is what it is. This is when it's dropping. If you want to say some other stuff, then yeah, go on ahead. Just say like, hey, we're so excited about this, or we hope you guys like this, or whatever. Yeah,
our heaviest material yet. Yeah. How many times have we heard that one? Yeah.
First band to say that. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, if you want to add that, be my guest, but you don't need to do this whole, as you said, trailer stuff where it's like, dude, you're a small band right now. Just give us the music, and as you said, let the music talk. Because if the music's there, people will like it, and that's what we did. We're like, we know what we're sitting on is pretty good, but that's just us though. So we're just gonna post it like as if we know people like this already. So here's the song, here's the music. Have fun with it. And then once people get a hold of it, then they're like, oh, holy shit, this is fucking insane, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, we're really.
Yeah. But at this point, just so it's clear, it's us two now, you know, because you're saying it's just us. Now it's our entire community who's on board with the new song, just so that it's really clear. But I think you're right, and I think, you know what I would recommend personally, and I want your opinion on that. Instead of dropping trailers and stuff like that, I think it's gonna serve you better for your audience to just show snippet that you're in the studio together, a little riff. Like I think it's better to just build around the music. They hear a whole thing. You hear just the vocalist recording stuff. That's the kind of things that people are like, oh shit, what is it gonna be about? And you're showing that to the right people. That's that's what I think personally.
I 100% agree with that, because I constantly post what I'm writing online constantly, whether it be for Kilobastard or for myself or for Squelching. I will just be writing and recording and posting it. And I want people to stay engaged, like, oh shit, what is this going to be for? What is this going to be somewhere in one of the songs or whatever? And if it is going to be in the song, they're going to hear it. But I remember seeing that story. I remember seeing that recording. And I also grew up like watching like all the videos of like Whitechapel tracking This Is Exile in the studio, Oceano, I Declare War, all them posting their studio footage and stuff like that. And that's how I got inspiration a lot of the time back in the day. Even still to this day, I will still go back and watch those videos and be like, all right, let's see what little stuff can I hear from their recording or writing process that is going to be making up the gears going, lights a fire in me, and that's going to be like, all right, yeah, I'm excited. Like even seeing Alex from Whitechapel posting just the little snippets of the guitar parts for the new record they worked on. I was like, oh my God, Whitechapel's going back to the heavy shit. And like seeing him post be like, I miss writing stuff like Somatic Defilement. And next thing you know, you hear that. I'm like, dude, yes, I've been waiting for this forever now.
And that's probably better than a trailer, with all due respect. I think it's better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's so
I had the whole deathcore community hyped for like a year until they finally dropped the album.
It was. Let's be honest.
Clip.
I think it was the most anticipated thing in deathcore. Like honestly, for the longest time,
because
I think that's
of
all
that
I
one
would
clip.
see. Yes.
You know, like specifically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, dude. I could say I was so hyped for that. I was literally on the edge of my seat, just being like, telling all the guys in the band, guys, Whitechapel's going heavy again. We're getting heavy Whitechapel. They're so back, baby.
Yeah, because there's another thing too, right? And I also want your opinion on that. But people need to remember, the more you talk about it, the longest you keep hyping it, and the more chances are that you build something here in terms of expectations. And even if your music is amazing, if it's been so long that you keep teasing, maybe you won't get the result, as opposed to just, you know, kind of what we talked about, a little bit of studio and then you drop. Because if for 3 years you're just like, we're about to do the greatest thing, like people are just like, yeah, it better be insane, right?
No, that's exactly, like, even for us, like as Squelching, like I would post stuff constantly of like, we're writing, we're recording right now and stuff, and people are like, when are you guys dropping? When are we getting new material? And I'm constantly getting my DMs filled, constantly the page getting filled with people being like, we need new material. And then I started just
they weren't lying.
No,
just
exactly.
Put it out there.
No, they definitely were not lying whatsoever. And you know, and that's the reason why, like, another reason we're just like, we want to like hone in on this heavier sound, because we're like, if we've been sitting this long, basically 2 years at this point of writing, we better deliver something good. It's not, I don't want it to be mediocre. I don't want it to be something that people have already heard before. I want it to stand out and make it sound different. And that's like my whole thing to begin with this whole band, is just like, write something that is different than what was going on. Because I love all the slam stuff going on right now. Everything like our boys in Peeling Flesh, like I love them so much. I love all that stuff. But I want to do something that's going to make people be like, oh shit, this just dropped and this is like blowing everything out of proportions. Like all these elements from these other bands, like even like I love the Psycho Frame stuff so much. I love that band, but taking the aspects of that, the slam stuff going on, throw that all together and just, as I said, make it minimalistic as possible and structure it well, it's gonna go somewhere.
Well, to be fair, you did. I mean, we heard it, and like, because that's another, because we're talking about mindsets and we're talking about expectations and stuff like that. That's the difference here, though. You guys were writing, sure, you were taking your time, stuff like that. Sure, there's some expectations, but I think in that way it's fine, because it's just like, we're taking our time, we're writing and stuff like that. But if you would have been like constantly like a little movie trailer and another thing for like super long, that's what I'm talking about. Because I've seen that. Like I've seen the pre-save, and it's so early and stuff like, and I'm like, oh my God, you're building, you know what I mean? By the time that you're dropping it, people are not like, I want to hear that. They're like, thank God, I'm going to stop seeing those
posts. I'm not going to be seeing these posts anymore. It's like, all right, finally, like you guys dropped this, like about time. Yeah, exactly. The hype train is gone now. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. So, Yeah.
No, go for it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, that's the whole thing of like, again, of like, as I said before, of just like doing simple things with posts of like, here's the artwork, here's footage of us in the studio, or me just simply writing riffs or something like that, and then once it's all together, boom, songs dropping this day, then you let people do the rest of the work of building that hype. Don't
Yeah.
do the bare minimum of promotion and stuff like that, and let everyone else do the rest of the building the hype, because once people start talking, they won't stop.
Dude, it's so true. And I don't want to switch the conversation. I'm just saying that. Be rest assured, I'm not switching things. But I'm just going to say, as an example in gaming, the way Oblivion Remaster happened is another proof of that. They talked about it. Sure, there was rumors and stuff like that. But the second that they said we're streaming, it was available for sale and stuff like that. People just talk, like the fans did the job. And now it's one of the biggest things. So I just wanted to say that example, I think, is another proof of that, even beyond music. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great example.
There you go.
I'd love to kind of, in the same kind of subject, I guess you alluded to writing over 100 songs, and sometimes going back into songs to like change up drums and stuff like that. You talked about, a potential EP that was already ready to go, and then you guys decided, let's do this other track instead. Can you kind of bring us through, I guess, the thought process behind, like, how do you eventually then come to pick a song? When's a song ready? Is it pure vibes? Like, because at a certain point you must be like, I'm imagining having 100 songs in my folder right now, and that to me seems kind of overwhelming. So I'm just kind of wondering, like, what the process is there to, like, kind of from start to finish of a song actually coming out. You know?
Yeah. So like, a lot of times, again, I will write it all by myself. I'll write the instrumentals and stuff. Then I will present it to Jaden and be like, I want you to record on this. I would love for us to use this for Squelching. And then we'll record vocals and everything. Then our bassist or drummer or someone would be like, hey, can you make some like little changes to this real quickly, like these parts, so it doesn't just sound like what we've written before. And I'll be like, yeah, of course. And then once we have all that done, we will sit on it for a while until one of us really says, hey, we need to drop this. And especially like now, like, I don't know how we sat on Carnal Amputation, the new one, for about 6+ months. And I both the guitar, Andrew and I were just like, we're ready to drop this, guys. Like, even our drummer's like, hey, we've been playing this on our set list. We've been practicing this. This has been ready for a while now. Like, and clearly we like it. We like it. And it sounds like what we are wanting to do. People love it live. So let's just drop this already. Like, what are we waiting for? Like, we can't just sit here and keep nitpicking and be like, we can re-record this. We can re-record that. We can redo this. We can redo that. No, just drop it. Let's just drop it already. And that's what it's like, what it was like for a while, where it was just like having all these songs where we're like, these ones aren't it yet. And finally, the three of us, the guitarist, Andrew, and Chris, our drummer, we're just like, we're ready. We're ready. If we're already performing live now and everything, let's keep the ball moving. Let's keep the momentum rolling so that we keep people engaged. Not just like, show up to our shows and you might hear new songs. No, we want to give them the new material so that when they come see us live, they can be like, I remember that one. I remember that song whenever it dropped or whatever. Or even like they heard it live before we dropped it. They're like, oh my God, that's that song? That's the name of it? Oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this song forever. Like, I can say, like, That's how it was like with Body Box. Like I heard Scate scratch off and hookers so many times live, and I was like, I need these songs already. What songs are these? I need them. And then when they finally dropped it, I was like, about time. I've been waiting on these songs in particular. These songs.
Yeah,
So,
it was a big thing back then. Also, like you guys, I'm sure you remember, but you would see like Whitechapel playing a new song live, and it was the worst quality it was horrible. But you're just like, oh my god, it sounds pretty, and it would create just by itself like some hype, and people were just like that new song. So when they dropped the song, people were actually waiting for it. So I just wanted to add to that.
No, that's a whole nother thing with it is like we want to build that hype so that whenever like, yeah, we're not just all playing stuff from our first EP and stuff, we're playing stuff that is soon to come. And we want people to be like, oh my God, this is what you guys have been working on all this time? Right. Yeah.
Is there any of it that's kind of maybe like a testing ground for you guys as you guys kind of practice them in rehearsals or even live? Like, is there ever like once a song is kind of like in the set, is it kind of for sure a song that's going to make its way to being a recording, or has there been songs where you're like, yeah, maybe this one's got to go and fuck it, we're scrapping it?
Yeah, there's definitely been a couple of those songs where we're like, we recorded it, and the next thing you know, we're like, would we want to play this live? And it's like, if we're not going to play it live, then why are we going to throw it onto a record, you know? Like, if we're not going to have fun with it live, or we're just going to be sitting here like, oh, we got to play this song? Oh, Lordy. Like, no, we want to have fun with every one of our songs. And in most of the songs that are on our set list are songs that, like, we have already released, or like the two new ones, like we have, you know, Carnal Amputation, and another one that I'm going to be showing tonight for you guys is like, we want these to be released. Like the newer one that we are going to be releasing later on, or just save it for the EP, is using stuff like metric modulation, where we're playing the riff one particular way, but the drums are changing style where it sounds like a completely different riff, when in actual reality, we're playing it the same way.
Yeah, what I'm hearing, by the way, in all that is there's a lot of thought in the music, but it feels like there's also a lot of thought, you know, from the perspective of your audience. It feels like you guys are putting, it's like you're doing it like you would like to get it as a fan. Would that be correct?
Yeah, that's 100% correct. Because one, like we love doing this, and if we didn't love doing it, then why the hell are we doing it? You know? And so we are thinking about it as if we were watching like another band. Like, if we're seeing a band do this, we would want to do it as well. Like, if we're wanting to get as tight as these other bands are, we're going to be as tight as we can. If we want to be over the top ridiculous, if we want to see a band do that, we're going to do it and stuff like that.
Yeah. You create you create your favorite thing, I guess, like what you would, your dream band scenario, you create it as your own type thing. Basically.
Exactly. That's exactly like, and I come from a film background as well, like going through film school stuff, like in high school. And when I was doing that, my teacher said my favorite thing in the whole world. He said, my favorite project is the next one I'm going to do. And I was like, that is a philosophy I want to live by. I want to live by completely. Just anything I'm writing next, I better love, because if I'm not in love with it, forget it. I don't want to touch it ever again.
But it does make sense. Like, and I get it. Back in the days, you know, you needed to do an album. There's a label. There's a number of. I get that part, but I'm just saying. Imagine how it's kind of lame to work on a song knowing you're never gonna play that. Like you know that you're doing this song, and as a band, you're like, yeah, that's that's not going in our set. Like, there's no way it's on our set. Like, it's hard for me to picture the motivation behind that. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, just do like a EP full of songs you're gonna play live, as opposed to just like, here's 4 tracks, they're gonna exist, and that's it. It's done. It's recorded. You know.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing of like, I want to be able to play like all of our songs live. I want to, like, especially like if everything keeps going up the way it is right now, and we have to make our set list longer and longer and longer.
A couple more EPs to write to make that happen.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Like we still, like, for like our live set, we're doing like No Cheating Pain. We're basically doing the first 5 songs off the EP besides Maggots and Entrails, with the 2 new ones that we have really like finalized.
What is that now? Like a 16-17 minute set?
Basically, like 17 minutes to, like, and if you take in consideration like the talking in between and like thinking ever coming out, it's like 20 minutes right there. 20 and everything like that. So it's like perfect, because we never go past 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, that's a lie. Our newest song, we go 3 minutes and like.
That's the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh, there's this one's longer. All right.
Yeah, like because whenever I was working, because I worked under Ryan Harvey for like production and stuff like that. He's an amazing engineer for everything, mixing, mastering, and recording. And when I was working under him and we were writing Left Hand Path, he was like, our songs never go past 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And I was like, I want to keep that mentality for Squelching. Like, I want to keep that mentality of, like, I guess you could say like a grind mentality of like, we want short songs. Like, obviously we're going to have songs that are going to be like reaching into like 3 minutes and like 35 seconds, 38 seconds. But I never want it to go past then, because as a listener, you're just like, all right, when is this going to end? How much left? How much more do I have to listen to before I get to this like final breakdown, basically?
Dude, 100%. Like, and I'm gonna be honest, no hating here. Let's be like, how many 7-minute songs do you have in your playlist? Let's just be real.
I don't got any personally.
I have 0.
I've got like turbo ADHD brain though, so maybe that's a part of it. I assume some people out there enjoy longer songs, or else they just simply wouldn't exist. But for what we listen to, nah, man, give me a good 2.5 to 3.5 minute song any day of the week.
Just switch vibes and go for another song. I would be my advice.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
the short amount of music on repeat. Like that's what I had for the EP. You know, it's 13 minutes. Fine. Like, if it's not long enough, just run it back and then run it back again. Like, it's chill. You know, like it doesn't need to be like longer for the sake of being longer. Like, just because, right? That's ultimately just not going to serve the song.
Yes, it's
exactly.
I have another nerdy reference, but it's like, if we're talking about movies, there's a reason why it's pretty much always an hour and a half, and there are exceptions. But do you have what it takes to do something as cool as Lord of the Ring? Maybe not. So that's, you know what I mean? It's doable.
Exactly.
It's doable, but do you have the materials so that your 7-minute song, especially we're talking about deathcore here, make it interesting the entire time? And I don't see a point in that, like at all. Like, I don't see why you would do that. But
no, that's exactly right. Like, I mean, like, the only stuff I can really think of off the top of my head, off the immediate go, is like, for Infinite Annihilator's second album, the Elysian Grand de Belgaliarch, they had Behold the Kingdom of the Wretched Undying, where it is like 18 minutes long, but it has like over like 7 vocalists on it. going, and it's telling like a whole story, and then you're having breakdown mixed in with solos and stuff, and it's like, oh, this is insane. Then you have stuff like Blaspheminian, which is like 7 minutes of pure just punishing riffs and crazy guitar solos, and it's like, see, if you're doing that, that makes sense because you're also telling a story within it. So I'm not upset because I'm going to be locked in on the story with it. And it's like how you said, like, if you don't got the material for it, then can you really do it? Like, because like,
Look,
as you
I
said,
think
with, like,
Infant. Sorry to cut you out. I think Infant Annihilator are like the Lord of the Rings. You know, like that. Like they can pull it off because it's them.
That's the exception.
You know? Yeah.
That's the exception. They have a pass for a lot of stuff. If I'm honest with you, like, I mean, doing the impossible things to play, like the long songs and everything, it feels like we're at the point where we're just like, do what you want. We're gonna.
Yeah, they're the band to prove us wrong, I guess. Everything we're talking about today.
Exactly. And I mean, that's what I mean. They've always set that groundwork of like, hey, we're just going to be doing the most ridiculous thing possible, whether it be the hard playing guitar parts, drum parts, or ridiculous vocals. And at this point, we're just like, do whatever you, like, as you said, do whatever you want because we're here for it and we know it's going to be ridiculous.
That's it. Because again, it goes to, it's more risky to do that, but if you do it properly, it could pay off really well. So it's just, it comes back to, do you have the material to do it? Do you do it in an interesting way? But I feel like having, you know, kind of like goals like that, just for having goals like that, let's make a 8-minute songs. To me, I don't see a scenario where it's the right mindset. It's material first, and then if you have it and it works, you do it. It is.
Look, my exception, like my exception to that rule is like, dude, go for a 5-minute song if it's like your outro track with a crazy outro thing going on. That's my that's my exception to the rule.
No, yeah, that's completely understandable, especially if it's an outro type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like I know for like us and Squelching, like we're again just simply like, let's just make this like 3 minutes 30 seconds and cut it there. If we go over like a couple seconds, like 10 seconds 15 seconds, okay, not a big deal. But the moment we're stretching into that 4-minute range, we're like, nope.
Oh yeah.
Nope. I don't want to do that because I already want to move over to the next song to perform, like, or just even here for that stuff because like I have that ADHD-esque brain too, where I'm like, I want to hear something different already.
I mean, to your point though, the EP itself is very fluid in the sense that I feel like most of the songs kind of flow one into another. Like I in the early listenings would catch myself being like, I try to know which song is which and didn't realize that it already switched over to another song. It's like, wait, what the fuck is this? You know? So there is that too. Like the songs, they can stand alone as a 2-minute song by itself, but then there are ways to make it feel longer when it's in a live setting or if you're listening to it on a recording. So I don't know. I think to me, that's kind of like the best of both worlds.
Oh yeah, and like that's with that first EP, yeah, we wanted it to be fluid, where it's like one song can go after another smoothly without it being like, here's a drastic change. No, we want it to be a cohesive sound, because I can say like whenever I was first writing music and stuff, I'll go from like writing a deathcore song. Next thing I know, I'm writing a just super grind sounding song. And I don't want it to sound like we're completely switching up the genre or like we're switching up the sound entirely. We still want to stay in that realm of sound and style, but throw those different influences in there.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a lot of sense. So
no, you're good. I'd love to touch on sampling and
Yeah.
the squelch noises and the bass boost. We got to talk about both those
It's so
things.
sick.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What you gotta give us a little bit of BTS on the behind the scenes on the squelching going on.
So the squelching, a lot of times, we for the first EP, we just found like numerous videos on YouTube of like people doing stuff, whether it just be walking through mud or like we find like it just free squelch sounds, and we're like, oh, these are gross. We want to throw these in between like these empty sections and stuff just to make people uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And everything, like, and I know for like our live stuff, our drummer will find videos now of like people ripping apart pumpkins, cantaloupe, and stuff like especially for like one of our new intro that we're gonna be working on. It literally has the sound of someone ripping apart a pumpkin in it.
Mhm.
And it's the most grotesque noise you'll ever hear in your life, and you're like, this literally sounds like actual gore and actual like blood and stuff being meshed around. And that's what we want to go for, because the stuff that we love with deathcore is whenever it's like that horror kind of stuff, whenever it's like, oh, this crazed psychopath going on a killing spree type stuff. That's our favorite kind of stuff, because you can just be ridiculous with it, with noises, with lyrics, all that stuff. Like, and for like the sub bomb stuff, like the bass drops and stuff. Oh, I just love that. I've always thought that was the funniest stuff for deathcore and slam, when it just sounds like your speakers are about to be blown out because of the bass. And I can tell you numerous times whenever we're working on our stuff, I would sit there and purposely make the sub bomb over the top long, where it's basically going throughout the entire breakdown, where all you're hearing is like,
Yes.
and you're just like, dude, what the hell is going on? Why is it that damn long? And gosh, there was one band, it's like as of Oceans or something. It's like, I can't remember the name of them, but they used to have like the over the top sub bombs.
I would say Above This. I don't know if you know them. I don't know
Above This, that's who I'm thinking of. Exactly.
Bring back the bass.
It's just over the top sub bombs, where like you will have a sub bomb reversing into the other sub bomb, and you're just like, my speakers aren't going to be able to handle this. Like,
which is perfect.
And that's what like going from like, I will like mix stuff here in my bedroom, mix stuff there at Jaden's place, and then I'll go and test it in my car. And if I'm not feeling my car shake during those sections, I'm like, it needs to hit harder. I need to turn up the sub bombs more. I need to make sure this is hitting even harder now.
It's something so cool, we used to have so much of. It used to be a contest of who can do the most wild fucking sub bombs and put as many as they can in a song. And live, it was always even more ridiculous. But but we've lost that over the years. No one's doing fucking bass drops anymore. At least not in that sense. Not like over the top like you guys are doing. So it's
more subtle. It's really subtle. It's like it's there, you kind of hear it, but it's not part of it. As it's just like, okay, it's there. You don't notice it, is what I would say nowadays. It's just it's here, part of the ambient thing, but it's not like, oh shit, that like almost the vocals are buried by the bass drop, you know. So
that's the stuff I've always loved with deathcore, is when it's just, again, over the top and ridiculous. And that's what I always remember of deathcore, is just being the most over the top and ridiculous genres for metal. And I'm like, I love that, and I want that to keep going. And, you know, for a bit it didn't, but like, you know, this whole revival we're having with bands like Girl of Glass, Slamwich, Maul and stuff, they're bringing back just the over the top ridiculousness, and I'm here for it 100%. And like, sub bombs is a big part of it. The bass drops are the big part of it, where you need to have the people be like, holy shit, like, Like I can tell you so many bands I've seen live that when they throw the bass drop in there, you feel it in your chest, and
Sound
you're like,
if it sounds good when you're sound checking, like I'll always remember, you're waiting for a band to come on and they're sound checking the bass drop, and you already know it's like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Hold on, real quick. I'm gonna step away and use the bathroom real quickly.
Yeah, you're good,
No
my man. Of
problem.
course.
At all. The opposite is probably less cool. Like it sounds horrible. Like you're doing your sound check and it just doesn't work.
It's like the wrong pit. Like it kind of, like a dying car horn.
Yeah.
Like your bass boost goes out. It's just,
and you're just like, that won't help so much. But it's true. Like I was about to tell him that, but it's cool to hear that perspective from someone who's mixing and doing that kind of stuff, because usually the opposition of that is the person who's like, I want it to sound good.
Usually. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don't want to break this out. And then there's him who's just like, I don't care. We're gonna, which is
not enough. Yeah.
So exactly. By the way, we're just saying that it's cool to hear that perspective from someone who's mixing and mastering stuff and working with sound that's aware that even then it can work, and it's cool to destroy the sound during those moments, because it's often kind of a producer thing of just like, I won't, which I can understand, by the way. Like it makes sense. They want it to sound as good as possible, but you have to repeat 50 times, destroy that part, like make it break,
No,
So.
exactly. And like with this, one of the newer songs we're gonna be showing you is, we have one of our longest sub bombs ever in it, where even live, like we use it live, and it hits so hard for no reason, and it's so good, and I love it so much.
It fits though. Like picture that. Imagine bass drop starting, you still hear it, and you see people going crazy, mushing at the same time. It works.
Oh, it slows down time, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Especially if like we have those like little pause parts, and it's like still sub bomb still going. You could hear it overlayered with the sneakers.
Yeah, you got the sneakers squeaking. You got the windbreakers. You got the bass boost. Hey man, we're back in 2008.
I have a question for you guys though. Coming from someone who don't go to enough shows, I know I need to. I will. Well, you guys come in Montreal, so I'm gonna have to be there. There you go. But do people still, like, we used to wear our keychain on us, and in the mosh pit you could hear like the keys. Is that still a thing, or it's gone?
100. Oh, it's 100% a thing. Like I still mosh, like whenever I mosh, I will have my keys in my pocket and stuff, and I will hear just ching 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 all going on. I'm laughing to myself, just like, oh, this is ridiculous.
It's funny, basically, because in the silence where even the drum, like everything stopped, the only thing you would hear is, and the keys going like ching ching ching. There's just nothing going on. So you're telling me it's still a thing, basically. So.
Oh yeah, it's still a thing. It's never left. Even if it's just like a simple push pit, you can still hear it.
Yeah.
Still hear it just moving around, because you're just like, oh, pockets are all moving around and everything like that. Like it's inevitable for that stuff to happen.
Perfect. I'm reassured now. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we've alluded to some new music a few times. I think we should dive into that sooner than later. But I'd love to kind of cap this the kind of interview part off first with maybe a last little thing. I wanna dive into conspiracy theories for a moment with you, because I heard that's something you're kind of all about.
Conspiracy. I love conspiracy theories, dude. If the more ridiculous it is, the more better it is.
So what's like a favorite or a most ridiculous conspiracy theory we can talk about right now?
Oh geez, there's so many.
I'm loving this.
So just to give a real quick background, I am Jewish myself, and I am also a Freemason. Like I do Freemasonry. So anything that involves
The youngest, I heard.
those, yep, yep, in Oklahoma at the moment. Well, I was, but there's some people that are joining still to this day.
They're beating you to it. Okay.
I know,
The
I
damn
know.
youngins.
Exactly what I said. I'm like, damn, I lost my title. I lost my title now. but no, anything that involves like the Freemasons, like saying like, oh, they're a satanic cult or something. I'm like, yeah, buddy. Or it's like the simple stuff of being like, oh, the Jews are behind all of it. I just sit there and laugh, and I'm like, man, I wish we were. I wish we were behind this. You kidding me? But my all-time favorite one though is like this whole conspiracy of like Hollow Earth, Inner Earth, like Agartha, Shangri-La. I love stuff like that because I'm just like, dude, please tell me there is this subterranean civilization that holds all this over the top technology that we are being hidden from and stuff like that. But I'm also a huge fan of like the CERN Hadron Particle Collider conspiracy of they're believing that it's opening interdimensional gateways to let demons and aliens through, and I'm like, dude, yeah.
Did you see the one that like a lot of people are talking about this? Like, I'm not making that up because it's gonna look like I'm making this up. But like, there's a lot of theories that like there is no aliens, it's only demons type thing. Yep. So I see quite a lot. Like they called it fallen angel, if I recall.
Yep, fallen angels. Yeah.
And you want to know why? Like, what's interesting to me is that all those theories are actually cool though. Like, honestly, like I mean that. Like, you could do a movie or a book with each of them, you know? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
dude, yeah. Oh, dude, you're in my ballpark right there of tying in religion and scientific stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm all about that. Where I love hearing people talk about like, oh yeah, all these aliens are actually the fallen angels from stuff like the Book of Enoch or like in Genesis. They're the ones that caused the Nephilim. All that stuff. I love that stuff because I'm like, that's so ridiculous. And there's actually an idea of that we got our technology, our modern technology, we got it from like fallen angels and stuff, but there's also the idea of that we're encoding like demonic sigils into like the hardware and everything. And I'm like, oh, that's fun because the whole idea is naturally our computer screens, our TV screens, phone screens are these black mirrors. And black mirrors were always used as a form of scrying within like back in the day of like tapping into the spirit world and stuff. And it's like, who's to say that these things are not are just simply but interconnecting points to allow these things through unknowingly. And I'm like, I love that.
There's a lot of speculation about, technology being with AI and everything being, and I'm sure you read about that as well, being an ancient form of, I don't know to call it, but kind of it's an alive kind of being, like it's kind of waking up this sentient being. I don't know to call it. I think they call it like that. And technology would be, you know what I mean? Like I even read, I don't know if you read about like the mark of the beast, like it's more of a religious thing as well, but like a lot of people are convinced that like just cell phone would be that, social media would be that. Like there's a lot of speculation about that. Other people are saying no, it needs to be a proper mark. They're going to do that with chips and stuff. Then they put that on like so there's a lot of like I would say, and I'm saying that respectfully, by the way, like no matter the beliefs and everything, but like there's a big part of the all these theories that are linked to like religion and stuff that that's happening. And to be fair, it's all extremely interesting. Sometimes like I see some things and I'm like, that would be actually pretty intense, you know, like so
Right.
wars between angels. And I'm like, oh my god, that's actually, you know, if it's really that, and next thing you know, there's like, you know, they're reviving on Earth, and there's this big fight with
War of the
demons and
Worlds.
stuff.
Like, yeah.
I
Dude,
mean,
exactly. Like, dude, I would love, like, as I say to like my friends and family, I would love for that stuff to be real as much as I would love for it to be. Is it? I don't know. I don't know. I just look into it and think to myself, this stuff is ridiculous and cool. Like, there's like the whole stuff of like the ancient aliens of like the Anunnaki and everything, where it's like, of
yeah.
like this really highly advanced alien civilization came and modified human
Yep.
DNA, and we're now we are the offspring of the combination of the alien DNA and the primitive hominid of the time.
Dude,
Okay.
please tell me that you read about Soul Trap. Please tell me you read about that. Okay.
Dude,
so
I'm all into that.
Okay, this is actually quite scary if it would be the case, but like the theory is with what you just mentioned with the Anunnaki and stuff like that. The theory would be that our souls are being recycled and we're being reincarnated, not by choice, but because we have to. And the earth would be some sort of prison that these beings are keeping us just recycling. And all these articles, what they're saying is when you die, when you pass away, don't go towards the light because it's a trap and you come back type thing. And there's a part of me who's like, yeah, it's like my choices, like lights seem pretty reassuring if I'm going to the, as opposed to go in the darkness. Just like, I'm like, where am I gonna, like, you know what I mean? With my luck, I'm gonna be like stuck in some, you know, weird dimension,
Exactly.
like, with like 5 people or something. But
I know, exactly.
that's my luck. Like I'm gonna be with like they're gonna be like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to be here type thing. But this whole theory, there's a huge, like, all we're talking about, by the way, the interesting part is there's so much written about. It's not like someone who said something and maybe there's a whole like almost universe built around all these things. You could do 50 movies just with what you start reading and it never ends. But the Soul Trap thing, I was like, oh my god, like if it's that, it's horrible, but you know.
No, yeah, you're tapping into like the ancient Christian like Gnostic stuff of like they believe that our material, well, depending on what sect of Gnosticism, it's our material world is but a flawed creation made by an evil being or whatever called the demiurge, and we are trapped here to have our essence, our negativity or whatever be harvested so it can fuel them. But there's also other sects of Gnosticism that are like, yeah, there is this higher spiritual world beyond our material world, and through it the main creator, the one, the all, whatever you want to call it, God, created itself into separate parts, and when it has done that, it has got into a reflective like state where our world mirrors the world above. But since we're a reflection, we're not perfect. We're not going to have all those great perfect things. We're going to have duality. We're going to have things of light and darkness, good and evil, white and black, red and blue. We're going to have all those separations, but that's because we're merely but a reflection of what's going on above. And that goes into the whole like alchemical hermetic belief of as above so below, but as within so without. As our world is going on the outside, is also going on in the inside as well. Like if you aren't good up here, it ain't going to be good out here.
Nope. We're absolutely, that's why, like, I won't dive into this, but like, I'm a firm believer into like manifestation and like all these things, creating your own reality and stuff like that. Because to be honest, I did it a few times in my life and it actually always worked. And there's a lot of factors, and it would probably be very easily to prove that it's not that, and things just happen. Fair enough.
Dude, those synchronicities just line up perfectly.
Attraction, and there's a lot of research behind that, by the way, like attraction, like what you think, like if you're always just asking for more and you're always in the lack of things and complaining, you're just going to keep being in that. But if you're being grateful and you're just like happy and you're thinking, you're going to be sent like positivity and stuff like that, which
there's a whole thing of ceremonial magic, like of stuff like Aleister Crowley, where his definition of magic, but it's magic with a K. It's spelled MAGICK. And he goes into this whole thing is that magic is the art and science of molding and shaping reality in conformity with will. Meaning, what you will shall be your reality. You can, and they use different like ritualistic type things where you are putting yourself in that present moment of you are there in that moment of what you want and what you need and everything. And then slowly but surely you're sending that signal to the subconscious brain, which is being sent to the higher collective conscious. And then that's going to be shaping the reality further and all that.
Yep. And it makes, if you really pay attention, by the way, it does make sense, like I don't think people realize the importance of their own thoughts in general. I don't think they realize if you spend your days hating yourself and saying that you're this and you're that and you're this, you're basically setting yourself up for like disaster and like all the worst things and everything, you know, if you keep repeating. But the beauty in that is the opposite works. If you're kind to yourself, if you're like, I can definitely do this. Notice how not every single one, but most confident people, look at people that are successful and stuff like that. Look the way they see themselves, the confidence they have, the way they believe in themselves. Look at all these success stories and stuff. You hear people like, I don't know, like successful people saying, yeah, I risk everything. I was like on a freaking couch for a while at my friend's place. And then it happened. It's because they believe in themselves. So it goes back to that. So it's really powerful, the way you see yourself, the way you think of yourself, the way you see, because if it's the same thing as we discussed earlier, like if you're not believing in yourself, who will at the end of the day, so
yes, oh my gosh, like you are preaching like my favorite thing that I tell my friends all the time of, dudes, you got to put yourself in a positive mindset, not just like this fake positivity stuff. I'm not talking that like nothing will ever happen bad if I think good thoughts. No, like that's bad things are going to happen no matter what. Like they are going to happen, but you got to be able to push it to the side, move along with it, but constantly hold yourself to this, I guess, higher standard of you are important, whether you realize it or not. You, at the end of the day, you got yourself. And if you are not in love with you or taking care of you, man, you got some problems coming your way. You got to be able to take care of you and hold yourself up into this light, to think highly of yourself, not sitting here in an egotistical way, but think like you, if you're doing good things, acknowledge that to yourself. No, like I am a good person.
And
bingo. And then no, you're correct on that, like those small victories. And even then, like as you said, just being grateful for like the little things. Like, man, I can't tell you how many times a day, even just driving, I will just be like, I am so thankful that I made it home safely and soundly. Like, I am grateful that nothing bad happened on the road or anything. It's just those little victories and just being able to tell yourself you're doing good. You're doing good.
And you're here Dude, just that. Like, I think we keep forgetting every single day, and I see them smiling because like I'm saying all these things. Meanwhile, I'm extremely hard on myself, which is true. But I'm also
Hey, look,
extremely.
I didn't have to say it. Look.
No, yeah, because he knows. He knows. I'm really hard on myself. That's something I'm working
Yeah.
on. But on the other end, though, I think manifestations work on my case because I'm also extremely grateful every single day before every single meal. At the end of my day, I walk in my place. I love the way I live, what I have, just having a roof, eating. Like, I feel like once you start, it sounds stupid, but once you start acknowledging all the things that you have, and first thing, by the way, just having health, I don't think people understand.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
because you can, what,
Yeah.
ask anybody right now on the planet who are absolutely rich, but they don't have health, they would trade it in a second, like it, without even thinking about it. Like, they would go poor like that. So that's the biggest value. So just being here, being able to do your days and to get another day tomorrow and stuff like that, it sounds cliche. It's something we heard many times, but I'm noticing that it's a lot of like, it's all in the gratefulness and the state of mind of being like, thanks for being here. Like, I'm so lucky. You mentioned driving. I have a car. I can go to where I want to go. I have my things. And once you start getting in that mindset, honestly, I'm not kidding, great things starts happening. Like, it's
Yeah.
really true. It's really
Yeah.
true. So
It's all a magnet, man. Like, if you're, as I said, as above, so below, as within, so without. If you're doing good in here, you're doing good out here. And if you're doing good out here, good things are happening up above, man. Like whatever you want to say, the stars are aligning, the planets are aligning, whatever it is, there's something going on. And do I know what it is? No. And I truthfully don't know, and kind of like don't not really care. I do care. I'm curious, but it's just like, if I'm not meant to know, I'm not meant to know. Like, that's just how it is about it. And that's the way I've always viewed life, especially like once I got all into the whole spiritual occult stuff. It's all started just making perfect sense with all that manifestation stuff. And I'm like, man, I wish people could see that, but I also think that some people are not meant to know. They're supposed to experience life this way up until a certain point. Because as I say, everything happens for a reason, whether we like to admit or not. Some of the bad things that's happened in my life, I can sit here now and be thankful for it.
yeah.
Weirdly enough, be like, I'm so grateful that happened, even though in the moment it sucked.
Yeah.
But now I'm here as this new individual, shaped into the person I want to be, and I'm now thinking of the person who I want to be. And like, that's the whole thing of like, instead of sitting there like I'm this and that, you have this idea in your head of a person that you're comparing yourself to. Start living like that person, instead of being like, I'm not that, I'm not successful, I'm not big and strong, I don't have this, I don't. Start doing it. Start
Yeah.
being that person so you can become that person.
Be who you want to be instead of like telling yourself you can't, like, if
Yep.
it goes back to, if you don't believe in yourself, as much as people love you, they cannot do that for you. You need to be the first one who believes. Everybody who, and I'm going to end with that, but like everybody, honestly, on the planet who did great things were being laughed at first, and people thought they were crazy. But if nobody believed in themselves, we would have no one who did big things and stuff like that. There would be no freaking Mitch Locker, or like in Hollywood. Like, imagine telling someone, I'm going to be an actor, I'm going to be in movies.
Right.
First reaction
Right.
is going to be people laughing. Yeah, sure. But
Whatever you
there
say,
are
dude.
some people who do it and they believed it the whole time. So it goes to show, believe in yourself, and then great. But I think you said it perfectly for that matter.
No, yeah.
So fucking excited to see what this single is going to do for you guys. I know you guys, have more plans in terms of things that are coming up, but Yeah, I don't know. I'd kind of want to let you give you the floor to talk about anything that maybe you have coming
Shows
up,
or
shows or
yeah.
anything
Oh,
like
yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and kind of tell the people where they can find you.
No, yeah. So we don't got any future shows planned at the moment. We're kind of like on like a little month break just so we can get together and figure out new merch and everything like that, because we're selling the rest of our stuff on our big cartel right now. Whatever we have left over from the other shows, such as like the t-shirt you're wearing, the other t-shirt I sent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we now have dad hats available that we're going to be posting online. We have still our hoodies, and we have like maybe like 5 tapes left, like
Okay,
actual
get
like
them.
actual cassette tapes. So like it's like we're
That's
just
so
trying to
sick.
get we're actually trying to get rid of this as soon as possible so that we can get the next thing of merch going.
Mm-hmm.
So that whenever we get another show offer, which we're hoping we get one either in June or July, like one of those 2 months, we're supposed to be getting we might be getting an offer. So we're just playing it by ear right now. But around that time, we're going to try to be doing more shows. But right now, we're just getting everything acquired, getting our ducks together, to say the least. And but no, you can find us on literally on all platforms, really, like Instagram, Squelching OK. Spotify is the same thing. iTunes, all that, Squelching OK. And
I'm
that's where
uh,
we're all.
I'm waiting for a tour with you guys, Psycho Frame, Without a Face, and Damage Over Time. I think that would be
Oh
a
my
great.
god.
I think that would be a
Oh my
great
god. That would
lineup.
be a dream come true right there. That would be a dream come true right
Can you
there.
imagine the violence though? Like it just imagine the shows in general. Like what makes no
Oh,
sense.
oh, dude, people would. I I'm expecting casualties the
Oh,
entire
dude, that
time.
would yeah. You would be in danger.
Ambulances are called before the show. They got to be
Yes.
ready.
Oh my
And
god,
you sign
dude.
something as you walk in. You have to sign
Yeah.
something. You're like, we're not responsible if something
No,
happened to you.
dude, speaking of that, like especially in like Oklahoma, especially in OKC at the VFW where all the shows, like crazy shows, are happening at, there's usually an ambulance on standby there.
Wow.
Usually,
Wow.
because
That's next
because
Wow.
level, dude.
I'm not joking. Backroom Productions puts
Mhm.
on the most insane shows in Oklahoma. They are the most violent shows, and they absolutely just. Every time I've gone, I sit there like, oh my god, this is terrifying, because it's just consensual violence. Like it's like WWE is just going on in the pit the entire time.
That's
Shout out
the
Backroom, man.
best. That's the best promotion I think I've ever heard for a place in general. Like the
For
way
a
you
venue,
described
yeah.
that for a venue, I think it was perfect. You know,
Yeah,
like
and
how
it's,
can you sell in a better way? Maybe not for someone who's scared, but in
yeah,
general, I think that's the best promotion ever.
dude,
So
no, yeah, and I mean, and it happens at a VFW, the Veterans for Foreign Wars place.
Mm.
Like, you wouldn't expect that at a place. Like, you expect that like probably like a normal DIY venue and stuff. Like, nope, this is happening at a VFW, and people are just throwing down. But I do want to give a shout out to all my friends though of Tar Creek, my boys, my other band, Kill a Bastard, Hollow Thoughts, Taker, all these Oklahoma bands that are just absolutely ridiculous. Like we right now in Oklahoma are having this huge boom of bands, and I love it. And I like literally whenever I was growing up, I barely heard of bands going on ever, because I come originally from Southwest Oklahoma in the middle of nowhere where there's no bands or shows going on whatsoever. And then you have stuff in like OKC and Tulsa, and it's just bands blowing up everywhere, and I love to see it. Oh, also shout out my boys in Dredge. Those are like
Hell yeah.
our brothers right there.
dude, it was I gotta say it was really fun, man. Like I also wanted to say thank you, you know, for us. It's like it's really cool that we could hear it first and stuff. Like, it's really, for us, it's an honor. We both love what you're doing, but like, we actually really appreciate, you know, the doing that. Like, you didn't have to do that and stuff. So it's really cool. And again, I'm really excited to see what all people are going to react to that, because it's insane. It's just insane.
Dude,
and
thank
live,
you for...
Yeah. So.
Dude, thank you again. I want to say thank you to you guys for having me on and being able to showcase this. Cause like, not even joking, like the day I discovered your guys' podcast, I was literally sitting there like, I love this. I love everything about it. Next thing you know, Dom hits me up, and then Charlie hits me up saying like, hey, I just got you in contact with the Brutality podcast, guys. And I'm like, I literally just found this podcast today. What the hell is going on right now? And this the whole thing talking about that manifestation stuff.
Goes back to it.
There you go. There
and
you
I'm
go.
like, what the hell, dude? What the hell?
It must have been one of the first thing we told each other, though. Once we heard your music, I think one of our first thing was it would be cool to have the guys. I want to know more, you know, about them. So it's kind of just, it was meant to happen.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh, that divine timing. That divine timing right there, man. But no, again, thank you for having me on. I had a great time talking to you guys. Seriously.
Glad you did. We're gonna have to invite you guys in the future as well.
I was about to say, if you guys want any of our members, like just hit up us or the band page, or just even if you have them on socials, hit them up, and I guarantee you they'll love to talk. The only person I can think of that wouldn't is like about talking is our vocalist, just because he is such a antisocial person, which is ironic, especially for being a vocalist.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it'd be like that, man. I get it.
No, but I love him. I love him for that, though. I'm like whenever I told him about the podcast, he's like, yeah, you're going on. I'm like, I figured I would.
That's fucking funny.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Man, but we'll have to do it to a round 2 for sure. And I mean, look, you guys are gonna put out some more music. You guys are gonna keep being at it. So we'll have to circle back whenever some more stuff happens. So.
And let's manifest it right now. Stuff's going to happen for you guys. We're going to have some opportunities. It's going to be sick. So we're going to have to talk about this here in the future.
Yeah. Oh, we will talk about it in the future. That is for sure going to happen. And again, if you guys, whenever you guys are ready for us to be back on, we'll love to be back on and talk all again. And I can bring some more conspiracies and all that.
We're going to need a special episode for that, I feel like.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, just about that.
Yes. I got you. I am literally the conspiracy guy. I read up on all of them. I watch so many different things like Y-Files. There's this one page on YouTube I watched called End Times Productions, and it is like an evangelical Christian conspiracy channel, and I love it so much. Like, I know this guy is 100% serious and believes in what he's talking about, but I sit there like, this is great.
For the show.
Comedy gold. Yeah.
I'm like, this is material right here. This is some stuff I get to enjoy.
That's perfect. So just prepare. It's going to be like a 12-hour special, and we're going to do that in the future. There you go.
Perfect. Works for me. I can talk my head off about it.
All right. Well, let you get on with the rest of your night. But thanks again, man, for coming on, and we'll keep in touch, my man.
Yep,
Peace
sounds
out,
good,
man.
guys. Peace.
If you made it to the end of this episode, thank you for watching. And hey, while you're here, hit that subscribe or follow button and a review. If you're watching or listening on a podcast platform, it would mean the world, and it helps out more than you know. A big thank you as well to all of our supporters over on Patreon and on Twitch. New episodes every week, links to our Patreon, Discord, and socials in the description. We'll see you soon. We're out.